What is going on, guys? My name is Baroner Developer B, and welcome back to episode 3 of the Bukkit coding tutorial series. In this episode, we are going to be looking at listeners, hence the title Introduction to Listeners. So let's go ahead and get started by creating a new module. So if you guys don't know what a listener is pretty much an action that happens in the game. I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, such as an example would be a block breaking. That might make sense. Like once you break that block, that event is called and you can run stuff inside of that event. So whenever a player joins, for example, which is what we're going to do, we're going to send them a message whenever they join the server. So that's an example of that. Or when a player quits, you can send the server a message saying the player quit. Or whenever you break a block, you can send a message. Or when you fly, you can send a message. When you sprint, when you lose hunger, when you damage another entity, those are all listeners or events. So, and you handle them inside of listeners. So let's go ahead and create a class, do the same exact thing as last time. Listeners.listeners, and there we go. So let's extend Java plugin, or wait, we still need to get that API in here. This is the last episode that I am going to show you guys all of this because it's pretty self-explanatory from here on out. We've done it for like 3 episodes, so you guys should have the hang of it by now in adding the library and creating the module and doing all that stuff and extending Java plugin. You guys should be starting to get used to it, so I'm going to stop doing it and have it already set up and everything, so you guys don't have to watch me do it every single time. But here we have it, extending Java plugin. Now for a listener, we have to do something different inside of the main class. We have to implement listener. So now this class is a listener, and pretty much what that does is it adds the event library to our class so we can handle events inside of this class. This is an interface, which is why we're implementing it. Extending has to be a class or an abstract class. Implements has to be a listener, or not a listener, a interface. So we need the onEnable for this, and I will do that last because that's normally the last thing you would do, but I'm just gonna have onEnable right there for when we need it. Now down here, we're going to start handling our listeners. So there's 2 ways to handle listeners. You can handle them in the same class, or you can handle them in a different class, which is a little tiny bit more advanced. It's not really. We'll get to that later, but I'm trying to make this as basic as possible for the new people that are trying to learn this. So this is the simplest way of doing it. And so this is how you do it. Pretty much you have to add an annotation, which is the little @ sign like the override right there. That's an annotation. This is an annotation. You have to add it. It's called @EventHandler. So put that right there, and under @EventHandler, type public void onJoin player join event e, and there we go. This is our event right here. Now, this may look kind of weird to you because it's a method, but it's an event actually. It's kind of hard to explain. It's kind of like the command that we did. It's sort of the same way that that works, except it's a void and it's better handled than a boolean. So pretty much what we're doing is we're adding this @EventHandler and creating this method. And you can call it whatever you want. I just call it onJoin because we're never going to use this. We're never going to call this method ever. Never going to call onJoin. So just call it onJoin. Normally whatever the event is. So if you click on this, as you can see, it is the player join event. Every event is laid out like this. I'll show you guys how to create your own event later, but it's gonna look something like this. Pretty simple. This is a really basic one, so that's good, so you can kind of see how everything works. And we will create one later with our own event. So here we are. Now let's go ahead and start coding. So pretty much when the player joins, what are we going to run whenever the player joins? That's what we're putting inside of this. So let's go ahead and type player equals e.getPlayer. They already have it nice and set up, so there is a player, which is the player joining the server. That's what this player is. And pretty much what we're going to do in this plugin is just add a join message and a leave message. Really simple. Let's go ahead and do that now. So once we type e.setJoinMessage, now this is going to change the join message from the regular yellow text to something that you create on your own. So let's go ahead and type chat color dot, let's switch it up a little bit. Let's do a light purple, like a pink color, I don't know. And then type player.get display name or get name. And then we can add another chat color. So chat color.green has joined the server. There we go. So now whenever we join the server, this is going to be ran instead of the other text. Now, player.getName pretty much gets the name of the player. It's self-explanatory. If you haven't looked in the player class, which I haven't shown you a lot, there are tons of ways you can handle this player. Whenever a player joins, you can do any of this stuff. So here, let's get name. So we can say, like, whenever the player joins, let's set him flying to true. Or we can set his player.setSpeed. You can do anything. Set speed, walk speed to 10F. So that's going to be really fast, but we're not going to do that. That's insane. But that's pretty much what an event does. You can handle or pretty much do anything inside of an event that you want. I just decided to do this because it's basic and simple, and it's realistic that a server would use a player join event for. Mostly in like mini games, a player join event would be for adding a player to a queue or listening for the amount of players that join to start a countdown or something, which we will do eventually, but that is later. So I keep saying things are later, but they're coming, trust me, in the future. So let's go ahead and create the onQuit, which is the exact opposite of onJoin. It's the exact same format and everything, and it's pretty much when a player leaves the server. So we are going to say player, let's go ahead, player equals e.getPlayer, so you can handle the player that's quitting. And if you type e.setQuitMessage, chat color dot dark red, we're gonna make this like very like a demonic text because they're leaving, and people are gonna be like, wow, this guy's a douche because he's leaving. But so we're going to set the quit message to dark red, player.getName plus, and then chat color.red has quit the server. Oops, not quite. Quit the server. What a douche. So there. So that's pretty much going to be the quit message, and there we go. So now we are done handling these events, and what we can do now is go up to the onEnable, and we have to register these events, or this whole class. You don't have to register each event in the onEnable, you just register the whole listener class. So you only register it by class. So pretty much, let's just type bucket.getPluginManager right there. Oops. Manager.register events. It's the third one with a listener and plugin. And the listener, the class that is implementing the listener is this class. So I type this because it's referring to this class that we're in right now, comma, space, and then the class that extends Java plugin, so the main class file, which is also this because we have it extending Java plugin. So we're going to type this again, and there we go. There's no errors, and we have successfully registered our events. Now that we're done with that, we can go ahead and create our plugin.yml. And now we're going to say name is listeners, main is me.developerb.listeners, version 1.0, and that's all we need. If you really desire, you could type author. I didn't do it in the last episode, but you can do it like that, and whatever, it doesn't really do anything unless someone's looking at your code and you're like, oh, that's the author, cool. It doesn't really do anything besides that. But that is pretty much it for the coding part of this tutorial. So let's go ahead and create our artifact now. So let's go to artifacts, create a new one, empty, listeners, and go to listeners, implement the compile output, go to file. Let's scroll down to idea projects, not Nazi zombies. I'll show you guys that later. That's gonna be super cool. Let's get the little project that I'm working on right now. If you can't see it, no spoilers. Okay, maybe a little bit of some spoilers. Yeah, that's pretty basic layout. I'll show you guys that later though. Don't look at that. So let's go ahead and type plugin.yml. There we go. Apply. And okay, there we go. Oh, also, like I always forget, we need to set this up so it goes in the plugins folder. I always forget to do that, but I'm not going to this time. There. So let's go ahead and build commands. No, not commands, listeners. Build. And there we go. So let's go ahead and go into our folder. I already have it open, and there it is, all nice and tidy inside of the plugins folder. Now let's go ahead and go to server and start this up. See if there's any errors or anything remotely wrong with this server. And nope, there we go. As you can see, enabling listeners 1.0. I happen to have Minecraft open, already ready to connect too. So let's go ahead and do that. It's a lot faster than last time because I had to download something. And as you can see, right when we join the server, it says developer B has joined the server in that text right there. And we're not going to be able to see the quit message, which kind of blows, but we might be able to see it in the console. It doesn't say it right there, but as you can see, our join message actually worked, which is crazy. So there we go. And once we leave, then it does say it in the console. Actually, it does actually say it, but it doesn't have our colors there. As you can see, we set it to dark red and then regular red, but it is there. Developer B has quit the server. What a douche. So it actually worked, guys. Our events actually worked, and you guys may be pretty excited about that. I was super excited whenever I first created a listener plugin with commands and all that. So thank you guys for watching. That was a quick tutorial on listeners. This is the introduction to listeners, and hopefully you guys are enjoying the series so far. I'm trying as hard as I can to upload these videos once a day. I know they're coming out a little bit late each day, but trust me, you guys will see them the next day or something, and by that time there'll already be another one out. So I'm trying to work ahead of this. I'm already in school, but I'm somehow managing time to do this. I don't know how, but I am. So thank you guys for watching. Like if you enjoyed the video, and I will see you guys in episode